What's happening, guys? Welcome back to the channel and welcome back to another M3 video. So if you guys don't already know, we are going to be seeing a lot more videos of the M3 because I did sell my F3335. So definitely go check out that video if you want to know what's going on and why I sold the car. But you're gonna see a lot more videos of the M3, and today we're actually gonna do a DIY on the interior. So you guys have seen a lot of the mods already on this car, but one of the interior mods that you may not have seen are light up door sills. You can pretty much buy these anywhere. They're all over AliExpress and that sort of thing. I don't actually remember where I bought mine, but you may have seen these door sills in a couple of my videos. I'm actually going to be swapping these out because the driver's side one actually kind of works intermittently, and probably about 50% of the time I get in the car, it doesn't want to turn on for some reason. So a buddy of mine is actually parting out his car and has these custom door sills, which I'm going to show here in a minute. And I'm actually going to be swapping these on instead because these are completely custom. They're a lot more expensive, a lot nicer looking, and I think it's going to complement my car a lot better. All right, so these are the new to me light up door sills. So these look a lot nicer in my opinion. So these were actually replacements. So you actually had to pull off the existing one and replace it with these. So these are completely custom made by a company called Graphics Works, which is no longer in business. So don't even bother trying to find these because you won't be able to find them. So these actually took, I think it took my buddy over a month to receive these because, like I said, they were custom made and they do light up. They're already pre-wired and everything for us, so that's good. It's gonna be a matter of wiring up the wiring harness basically on each side and then connecting it to some existing lighting underneath the glove box, and then it should light up as soon as you open the door. So I'm gonna take you through the install process on these, but I am super excited to get these on because I just think they look a lot cleaner than my current ones. All right, so as you can see, I obviously have some aftermarket door sills here. I actually got these, actually I'm not really sure, I don't really remember, but you can actually buy these on like AliExpress and stuff, so they're not the best things. I've noticed that the driver's side works intermittently, and so that's kind of why I want to swap these out, because it does kind of get annoying when I do open the door. Like probably 80% of the time it doesn't work, so I'm actually surprised that it's working right now, and it looks pretty cool actually. But I think the new ones are gonna look a little bit cleaner. But it's pretty simple to uninstall this. Since we've got the entire sill on the new one, we just need to pull off this entire old one and disconnect the wires. So what I need to do first is actually pull this thing up. It's covering the stock door sill underneath, but all it is double-sided taped on here. So the way I wired this wire goes underneath this trim panel here and up. It is wired to the footwell lighting, so this piece needs to come off as well in order to uninstall this. To do that, you're just going to grab it here, pull up, just go down the line, and have to manhandle it a little bit. But you can see all these little clips get stuck in here, so you just need to pull them out when you go ahead and reinstall. But this thing also has very similar type clips. I'm going to pull this trim piece up. So this one, same thing, you just kind of gotta grab it from the side here, give it a tug. There you go. So these have these little white clips that go all the way across. So you need to pull those out as well and put them on the new trim piece, and then it'll go right back on. So I'm gonna do this to the passenger side, and then we can go ahead with the install of the new stuff. Okay, so this is the current status of the passenger side. As you can see, I still have this wired up. This side does work, and the way I have this wired is actually ran a wire that goes all the way underneath here and connects to this footwell light. So whenever you open the door, this light automatically turns on, and so this is wired to that. So both turn on as soon as you open the door. So I need to basically follow my wire. I need to pull this trim piece off right here and then pull the actual light out and then disconnect my wiring there and then replace it with the new stuff. So having this panel off also gives me the ability to clean this all up. So as you guys can see, it's pretty dirty under here. But yeah, so I'm gonna basically pull this thing out of here. So once again, we are pulling this panel off here. Just kind of grab it. Just a couple clips. There we go. Follow my wiring here. So there's a little plug on this current one that I'm going to disconnect. So now we've got this whole piece completely off. Kind of find my wiring down here. There we go. So the old existing one had this one wire that I had to extend in order to get it to where I needed it to go. So that's why I had these wire nuts. So I'm gonna go ahead and pull these off. Okay, if I continue following my wire, let's see. I ran it down here. And then it should be connected here to my light. So what I'm actually going to do to make my life a little easier is I'm going to remove this panel here. So I need to go get some Torx bits. Okay, so in order to remove this panel here, there are a couple T20 screws. There's one here, and there's one there, and then it will actually slide out forward. So the way it's sitting in here like this, you just kind of have to get your fingernail under this part and pull it down. And then you can actually weave this through and pull this guy out. Okay, so as you can see, I've got my wiring here. So this is how I tapped into the old one. So if you're looking to do this with basically one of these other light up door sills, this is kind of how I did it. So I tapped into this wire here. So since I already have this wiring here already done, it's already tapped in, I really don't want to pull this apart. So I already ran my wires over here from the old one. So what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to take the new wiring harness and just tap into my existing wires that are already here. So I've got this clamp here, and basically we're just going to clamp this together, one on each side, and then we are going to route all my wiring. So let's see, this wire here goes to the red and blue. So I'm going to use the red wire over here and tap in. So the way these work, if you don't know how these work, basically you just put your wire in like this and then clamp it down until it snaps into place. So it actually cut into the wire here, and I'm going to use some pliers and just crimp this together until it snaps in. So now that's nice and tight, shouldn't be going anywhere. And then we're going to do the same thing on this side. So I'm going to feed my wire in just like that, and then close it up, clamp it together, and now it should have a nice connection. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to cut this excess off, just because I don't need this extra wire showing anywhere. So clip, and then clip. So now really I should have just left my wiring, and I'm going to reroute this. I'm actually going to tuck this underneath this part of the car because I do have a lot of slack, and so that means I need to run one side to the driver's side, which is this longer one here. So this is the relay, this is for the lighting, so you need to have this as well. So basically I'm just going to tuck all of this stuff nice and neatly underneath this little panel here, underneath the glove box, out of the way. And then what I need to do is route this long side all the way to the other side of the car, the driver's side. And so I'm gonna have to take some stuff off on that side as well. Okay, so this is the passenger side door sill. So like I said, the wiring is already here for us, which is great. However, the ends had to be cut off of this end of it, which is the main wiring harness, in order to get it through this little hole here. So what we're gonna do is actually feed our wiring from the actual door sill here underneath here through this little tiny hole, and then we're going to navigate it out on this end, and then we're going to be able to run the wire that way. And then we're going to use our posi taps to connect the door sill wires to the wiring harness. Okay, so as you guys can see here, what I did was I took kind of a thicker wire, pushed it through this hole here and navigated it through here. It took a little bit of time, some trial and error to find something stiff enough that would actually get through this hole here. But now that I've got it through, I should be able to just take some electrical tape and tie these wires together and then pull it back through, and then that will fish my wire. At this point, as you guys can see, I've got my wiring through here, so we can go ahead and install this sill since this is all connected. So basically, you want to make sure that you have all of these white clips here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I did remove this one, so that one will not be going there since the wires are passing through. But what we can do now is go ahead and install this. So you just want to keep feeding your wires until it's nice and taut. Okay, so progress report. Once you've got the passenger side on, come over to the driver's side. I took out these 3 T20 Torx screws out of here, kind of pulled this down just enough to have access. Then I took a wire clothes hanger here, I stretched it out and I just kind of weaved it all the way through. So now it comes out on the passenger side over there, and that will allow me to string my wire from the wiring harness from the passenger side over to the driver's side. As you guys can see, this is the wire clothes hanger that came through on the other side here. So what I'm going to do is take my wiring harness and I'm going to basically attach it here, tape it to one side and fish it through. Okay, just like that. As you guys can see, I've got my wire here, just electrical taped to my little clothes hanger. I'm just going to pull it through and hopefully it'll go right through pretty easily. Yep, that was pretty painless. As you can see, got all the way through. So I'm gonna pull my wire through here. And then any excess that I have extra, because it is pretty long, I'm just gonna basically fold it up together and zip tie it and then tuck it underneath there. But pretty simple process. Okay, so same thing over here. We need to fish my little feeder wire through this hole here, so that way I can run my wire. So this is the part that takes a little bit of time, unless you get lucky, which I just got lucky. So there we go. All right, so now I can take my driver's side door sill here and take these 2 wires and tape them to this one here so I can feed it through. There we go. All right, so once again, make sure you have all these little white clips here, little tabs. And then go ahead and reinstall your trim. Okay, so back on the passenger side, you will note that I didn't actually install this yet, so I'm actually going to use my posi taps and connect these 2. So once again, this is from the wiring harness, and these wires are from the actual door sill. So there's 1 white and 1 black, 1 white, 1 black. So if you guys don't know how to use a posi tap, this is what a posi tap looks like. There's 2 ends. There's a metal conductor on the inside. So if you unscrew this end, you'll see that there's actually a hole here and a pin. So you'll actually insert 1 wire in this direction, and then whatever wire you're tapping into on this opposite side, you'll unscrew, and you'll see this little channel here, U channel. You'll actually stick the wire in this direction, and what it's going to do is there's a little metal prong here that's going to basically stab the wire. So the wire is going to go in through this hole, this direction, and then when you screw it down, it's actually going to stab the wire, and that will complete your metal connection from side to side. So I've already stripped the sheathing off of this side. So we're gonna use 2 posi taps basically. So what I'm gonna do first is I'm going to take this one here. We're gonna start on this black and white wire. I'm gonna feed this through. Then we're going to reinstall this. Screw it down all the way, make sure it's tight, make sure that the wire is not actually going to come out, which it's not. And then on this side here, we'll take this out. And again, we're doing the white side. So I'm going to take this, insert this through the channel here, just like that. And then I'm going to screw this together. There we go, nice and tight. And any extra here I can just kind of cut off if I want to. And that's how that tap is going to look. So then we're going to do the same thing on the other side. Should be good to go here as well. So we could actually test this real quick before we go any further, which is what I'm going to do actually. All right, so technically this side should wire up. I'm going to go ahead and close the door. Open it back up, so my light is on, and this is also on. So this might be hard to see because it's bright in here, but at nighttime it's pretty bright, so I'm gonna turn the lights off real quick. All right, there we go. So at nighttime it's decently bright. It's obviously not as bright as my last one. My last one had a bunch of LEDs and stuff in it. I mean, this has LEDs in it as well, but with this being black, I think it's a little bit more subtle, but super clean looking. And obviously it'll turn itself off when you close the door. That light will also turn off since it's wired together, but that looks fantastic. Okay, so this passenger side is actually pretty much wired up. I just need to clean everything up. I'm gonna go ahead and use posi taps on the driver's side. Quick test here to make sure this works. Boom, sure does. Very nice, very nice, very nice. All right, so now that we've verified that both sills work, we can go ahead and reinstall these door sills and tidy up our wiring. As you guys can see, I've got the passenger side sill in, and then I also cleaned up all my wiring. So if you guys recall, that relay was on the passenger side here. And so since we tapped into this, I had all this extra wiring. This is actually my radar system, but the relay is actually this zip tie right here. It's actually tucked behind this giant OEM wiring harness. And so all my wiring is nice and clean, tucked away. I used a bunch of zip ties just to make it all look nice. And once we get our cover back on here, we won't be able to see any of it. Additionally, you guys can see where I ran the wires out of this hole here. It's tucked underneath the carpet all the way back behind here and then over there. Got the passenger side all buttoned up. And there you go. Obviously, it's kind of light in here. I do have the lights off, but it is super bright outside, so it's gonna be a lot more noticeable at nighttime, but it's still subtle, but I think it looks really cool. Here's the status of the driver's side. So the sill is all into place. Wiring still connected. So what we need to do is clean up the wiring on this side. I'm just going to do the same thing as I did on the passenger side. Just gonna kind of make it nice and neat, put some zip ties on it, tuck it up away underneath this tray here, and then reinstall, and we should be good to go. All right, everybody, completed product with the lights off. Ooh, pretty. I like it. At nighttime, I think it's the perfect amount of light. And obviously I have some LED interior bulbs as well, so matches very nicely. Looks very sleek. I dig it. All right guys, so that just about wraps it up. Pretty simple install for the most part. Nice little Saturday mod for the M3. Hope you guys like them. I think they look a lot better than the other ones just because there's no chrome on this car, and so the old ones had some chrome on it. This kind of just blends a little bit better. It's a little bit more subtle. I'll put some pictures up here at nighttime so you guys have a better idea what it looks like at night. If you guys have any comments, questions, or concerns about anything that I've done in this video, please let me know. Otherwise, we will see you guys in the next video. Take care, stay tuned. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. We'll see you then. Take care.